5 life lessons that I learned in prison, and watch to the very end, because the last lesson, if you don't learn this lesson, you could get killed. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with state prison, maybe have known some people, known some friends, family that have been to state prison. Well, the feds is a little bit different. The feds is, in my opinion, has a higher caliber of criminal. And from what you've heard, that you eat state dinners and things like that at the feds, yeah, that used to go on in the 1980s at lower level, custody level. But the feds has dangerous criminals, bank robbers, people with guns, big time drug dealers, things like that. And when you move into the higher security levels, like I was at due to my past criminal history, you get into more of a violent and predatory type of environment. So there were some life lessons that I had to learn really quickly doing time in the feds. I had never been to prison before. This is the first time I was in prison. I was a 24-year-old skinny, scrawny kid. Just got done being a drug addict, so I really had no muscles, and I wasn't really looking too built like for prison. But I had to figure things out pretty quickly, and I like to consider myself a pretty smart person, so I was able to learn the lessons pretty quickly. One of the things that you need to learn while you're doing time in the feds is that you can't control anything in your life. Nothing is up to you. You get told when to wake up, you get told when to go to sleep, you get told when to eat. Nothing is in your control. So learning to basically focus only on what you have control of, which is very little, and being able to let the rest go. This is an important life lesson out here in the real world, because you can't really focus and stress on things that you can't control. You really only want to focus on the things that you can control, and focus on those intently. Focus on what's in your circle of influence. So I learned to do that. I learned to quit worrying about and getting mad at, why didn't they call the 5-minute rec move? I want to go work out, because in prison they have controlled movements. When you want to go to the yard, you got to wait for them to open up the compound, which is open up movement for you to go to the yard. Otherwise you'll be stuck in the housing unit. So at times I'd be really upset because they wouldn't call a move, and I wanted to get to a workout, or I wanted to go to the yard. And sooner or later, I just quit worrying about that. Hey, it is what it is. I committed a crime, take accountability, and that's why I'm here. You can just imagine being in that situation, being told what to do, having no freedom of what you want to eat, no freedom of what time you want to eat. Everything is scheduled for you. I should have said this in the beginning of the video, but I'm actually glad that I did the time, because it makes every day out here a blessed day. Every day that I'm not in prison is a good day. So think about that. Think about people doing time, living in a bathroom. You live in a bathroom. So when you're having a bad day, just think about me living in a bathroom with his cellie taking his shit in the middle of the night, having to wake up to another man shitting 5 feet away from you. Yeah, that used to piss me off, but it's what it is. The second lesson was to avoid the snakes. Now you got to think about this. Some of these guys have been living in prison their entire lives. They've been in the system their entire lives. In prison, the way it is, especially when you get into mediums and high level prisons, they're a predatory environment. These guys have no families. These guys have no support. So they what we call in prison, live off the land. They don't have any outside support, so they got to make do with what they have at the prison. And a lot of the times that's preying on people and scamming people out of their money. This actually helped me to develop an intuition for good people and bad people. And in the business world, it's also helped me as well because I only do business with people of good character. Like Warren Buffett said, the #1 best business trait is integrity. So I look for integrity in anybody I deal with. If you're a partner of mine, I won't do business if you lack integrity. So this prison really helped me develop this sense of who's good and who's not good, because messing with the wrong person in prison can get you really messed up and in some really sticky situations that you don't want to be in. One of the things that I learned in prison was actually, this is just one of the examples of what a snake person would do. It's called fishing. They would try to fish for information. They would come and talk to you. Hey, so I heard so-and-so's a snitch. You hear that too? You say, oh yeah, I heard he's a snitch too. Next thing you know, the dude's gonna go tell the other dude, hey, dude over there said you were a snitch. So I just learned to be, I didn't hear nothing. What? That's what, he's a snitch? Oh, that's crazy. No, I didn't know that. I didn't know, just stay out of everything. This is the best way to basically survive. Another thing that I learned in there, this is the third thing, was drawing the line. That's what they call it. That's what we call it. I call it drawing the line. And this helps you as a man too, because you need to draw the line in certain situations as a man. You need to stand on your feet and you need to draw the line. Things like in prison where things can get taken too far, like they call it don't opening the door. So a lot of guys in prison will play gay games, play grab ass games and stuff like that, and you just don't want to open that door. You don't want to open the door to be horse playing, because horse playing can turn into fights. So you got to really be able to sometimes draw the line and let people know, hey, I don't do that. Get the fuck away from me with that shit. I don't play that. And because if you allow a little bit, people tend, and especially in prison and out here too, to take a lot. You give an inch, you take a mile. And in prison, there's more type of, like I say, it's a predatory environment. So of course, you give a little, they're going to try to take a lot from you. So you got to know when to draw the line. One of the examples where I really had to realize where I had to draw the line was, there was a guy that I was cool with. We talked, whatever. He wasn't like my best friend or anything, but so I'm walking with my co-defendant on the yard. He walks by and punches me in my shoulder. I look at him like, he walks past me. I look at him like, what the fuck? I look at my co-defendant like, what's this guy doing? What is he touching me for? I didn't say nothing then. So I get back to the unit from the yard later on that day. He walks up, punches me in my shoulder again. And at that point, I had to pull him aside so that nobody hears our conversation, because I just wanted to pull him to the side and say, hey, check this out. I don't touch you. Don't fucking touch me. He's like, whoa, I thought we were friends. I don't give a fuck if we're friends. Don't fucking touch me. I don't touch you. Don't touch me. Give me the same respect that I give you. And ever since then, he was like, oh, okay. I had to draw the line. He saw that I wasn't playing. He saw that I didn't want to be touched. And at that point, he quit punching me in my damn shoulder. And at that point, I learned, you got to draw the line. Even out here on the streets, you got to draw the line. Someone disrespects you, you got to let them know, hey, I don't play that disrespect shit. I treat you with respect, you treat me with respect. And if you don't want to treat me with respect, then I'll take my respect and make you learn how to respect me. That's how it has to come. That's how it has to happen. And that's why I like to engage in combat sports, because you can make people respect you. Not oftentimes out here, it doesn't ever have to really come to that, but in prison, respect is like one of the biggest things. And here's another thing. You really can't judge people based on a criminal record. Sure, you're in prison, and sure, you're in there with what they say the scourge of society. But to be honest with you, generally society judges people and judges criminals in their character because they've committed a crime. When a lot of the most stand-up people that I've actually met, that I'm still friends with today, are guys that I met in prison. A lot of them are actually. These are stand-up guys. Now think about it. Some of these guys are facing 15, 20 years. The government's offering them 50% off their time if they tell on their case, tell on their co-defendants. Most of these guys, a lot of them don't, some do, but a lot of them don't. The guys that I mess with, they didn't do that. So think about it. I mean, a lot of you people, you'll be looking at 12 months and you're going to go tell. These guys are looking at 15, 20 years and they hold it solid when they can get it out in half time. So you're going to tell me that a lot of these guys have poor character? No. And some of these guys got the best character, because a lot of these guys have really proven themselves by doing the time and being a stand-up person and not snitching, So You really can't judge a person just based off their criminal record. Yeah, they could be violent. Yeah, they could have made some mistakes, but it doesn't mean that someone lacks character or lacks integrity, you know, because a lot of these people have just grown up in the streets and that's all they know. Not that that's an excuse or anything, but that's just what it is. Now, the fifth lesson, and I believe this was the most important lesson that really helped me become the man I am today and helped me get through prison. And this fifth lesson is something that you can actually get killed over in prison, and that's keeping your word. Your word is everything in prison. In prison, you don't have a FICO score. You can't say, hey, Russ, let me get a sausage. I'll give you 2 sausage back on store day. And I'm gonna say, okay, well, let me look up your FICO score really quick and let me check how credible you are. No, you have to go off someone's word. That's all you got. And a lot of the times when you break your word, you fuck around and get killed over that shit. That's real shit. People take that as disrespect. If you tell someone you're gonna do something and you don't do it, they take that as disrespect. And respect is everything in prison, because that's all you have, your word and your respect as a man. Kind of like Tony Montana says, word and his balls. That's really all you got in prison. You don't have much else. You don't have material possessions. You don't have your family. You just got you, your word, and your balls. And in prison, when it really comes down, there's like really 2 types of people in prison. This is how it goes. There's good or bad. You're a guy that sticks to his word, you pay your bills on time, you do your own time. That's a good guy. So they say, oh, Russ and Celly over there, yeah, those are some good dudes. Or they got another guy, oh, Troy over here, he's no good. Troy's no good. So it's either good or no good. That's it, 2 types of people. And usually when you're no good, it's either you don't honor your word or you're a snitch or a child molester or some shit like that. And a lot of times the snitches and child molesters get taken care of. Sometimes they can skate by, but when they get found out, they go up top. That means go to protective custody, get off the yard, get shit somewhere else. But like these 5 lessons that I'd learned in prison played a huge role in my success in me becoming the person that I am today. You can't learn these lessons elsewhere, because the type of environment prison is, it teaches you these lessons, and you got to learn these lessons fast. It's either you're going to sink or swim. You're swimming with the sharks in there. Every man in there's a shark. Not every man, there's some pussies and stuff too, but you don't want to be one of them. So you're swimming with the sharks, and then when you're swimming with the sharks, you better learn real quick the rules of the ocean. So I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for letting me teach you. Like, comment, subscribe. Help the algorithm, help me out, help my content get searched. I'm trying hard here to start a YouTube channel. It's some of my first videos. I appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram @SimesRuss. Link in the description. Thank you.